progress report says we are at stage 10, paragraph page 845. And
Mm-hmm.
our last headword was Taylor Newark type of lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's start
Okay.
with revision. Ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm
Okay,
ready.
here we go. What are the two most common ways of giving a sick person medicine? What are the two most common ways of giving a sick person medicine? The two most
The two
common
most
ways
common
of
ways
giving a sick
of
person
giving sick
medicine
person medicine
are orally
are
or
orally
via an
or
injection.
via an injection.
Ragged which bird was commonly used in history as a messenger to deliver important news over a long distance? Which bird was commonly used in history as a messenger to deliver important news over a long distance? The pigeon
The
was
pigeon
commonly
was
used
commonly
in
used
history
in
as a
history
messenger
as a
to
messenger
deliver
to
important
deliver
news
important news
over a long
over
distance.
a long distance
How? By tying a
by
small
tying
written
a
message
small written
to
message
one of its
to one
legs
of its
and
legs
then allowing it
and then
to
allowing it
fly home.
to fly home.
Very good. When an adjective is followed by an infinitive with to, what does it often communicate? When an adjective is followed by an infinitive with to, what does it often communicate? When an adjective
When
is
an
followed
adjective
by an
followed
infinitive
by an
with
infinitive
to, it
with
often
to, it
communicates
often
our
communicates
feelings or
our feelings
reactions
or
to a
reactions
particular event.
to a particular event.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. She was sad to say
She was sad
goodbye
to say
to
goodbye
her friends.
to her friends.
Very good. Okay. Give me an example of a sentence with a noun or pronoun followed by an infinitive with to. Give me an example of a sentence with a noun or pronoun followed by an infinitive with to, please. We have loads of
We have
email
loads
to write.
of emails to write.
I have nothing to do
I have
tomorrow.
nothing to do tomorrow.
Very good. What's the difference between it's time for us to leave and it's time we left? What's the difference between it's time for us to leave and it's time we left? The difference between
The difference
it's
between
time for us to
it's
leave
time for us to
and
leave
it's time we left
and it's time
is
we
that
left
it's time
is
for
that
us to
it's
leave
time for
means
us to leave
that
means
now is the
that
correct
now
time
is the correct
to
time
leave,
to
whereas
leave,
it's time we
whereas
left
it's
means
time we left
that
means
we are a little
that
late
we are a little
and
late
maybe need to
and
hurry.
maybe need to hurry.
Give me another example of its time followed by an infinitive. Give me another example of its time followed by an infinitive, please. It's 9 o'clock.
It's nine
It's
o'clock.
time for the children
It's time for the
to go to
children
bed.
to go to bed.
And give me another example of its time followed by the past tense. Give me another example of its time followed by the past tense, please. It's nearly midnight.
It's nearly
It's
midnight.
time the children.
It's time to children.
It's time the children
It's time that children
went to bed.
went to bed.
Very good. Okay, what am I? Oh, here we go. What am I doing?
Mhm.
What am I doing? You're beating your
You
pen
are beating your
on the
pen
edge of the
on the
table.
edge of the table.
Does your country usually get beaten at football? Does your country usually get beaten at football? Yes or no?
No,
My country
my
doesn't
country
usually
doesn't
get beaten
usually
at football.
get beaten at the football.
Very good. What do you find to be the chief difficulty for you in learning English? What do you find to be the chief difficulty for you in learning English? I find
Mhm.
the
I
chief
find
difficulty
the chief difficulty
for me in learning
for me
English
in learning
to
English
be
to be the contraction.
very good. What do we mean by the chief of a tribe? What do we mean by a chief of a tribe? By the chief of a
By the
tribe,
chief of a
we mean
tribe,
the leader
we mean the
of the
leader
tribe.
of the tribe.
Very good. Are you easily disappointed? Are you easily disappointed? Yes or no?
Yes,
I'm easily
I'm
disappointed.
easily disappointed.
What's the biggest disappointment you've ever suffered in your life? What's the biggest disappointment you've ever suffered in your life? The biggest
Mhm. The
disappointment
biggest
I've
disappointment
one more. The
I've
biggest
ever,
the biggest
the biggest
disappointment
disappointment
I've ever suffered
I've ever
in my
suffered
life was
in my life was
Mhm. What is it?
when I lost my money
Mm. One day.
Mm.
Okay, very good.
Oh, oh,
Oh, very
mhm.
bad, I mean. Okay, next. Are fine wines often extremely expensive? Are fine wines often extremely expensive? Yes, fine
Yes,
wines are
fine
often
wines
extremely
are often
expensive.
extremely expensive.
Very good. What do we mean when we say that somebody has fine hair? What do we mean when we say that somebody has fine hair? When we say that
When we say
somebody
that
has fine
somebody
hair,
has fine
we mean
hair,
that
we
each
mean that
individual
each
hair
individual
is thin.
hair is thin.
Very good. What sort of food should we eat if we want to stay healthy? What sort of food should we eat if we want to stay healthy? We
Mhm.
should eat
We should eat fruits and vegetables
if we want to stay
if we
healthy.
want to stay healthy.
Very good. If we want to recycle our rubbish, do we have to sort it into different types? If we want to recycle our rubbish, do we have to sort it into different types? Yes. If we want
Yes,
to
if we
recycle
want
our
to
rubbish,
recycle our
we
rubbish,
have to sort it
we have to sort
into
it
different types.
into different types.
Very good. Are you good at sorting out other people's problems for them? Are you good at sorting out other people's problems for them? Yes or no?
No,
I'm not good at
I'm not good
sorting
at
out other
sorting out
people's
other
problems for
people's
them.
problems for them.
Very good. How can we tell if a wall is hollow or solid? How can we tell if a wall is hollow or solid? We can tell
We
if
can
a wall
tell
is
if
hollow
a wall is
or
hollow
solid
or
by
solid
tapping it
by
with our
tapping it
finger.
with our finger.
And what sort of sound do we get when we tap a hollow wall? And what sort of sound do we get if we tap a hollow wall? We get a hollow
We get
sound
a hollow
when we
sound
tap a
when we
hollow
tap
wall.
a hollow wall.
And what do we get when water changes from liquid state to a solid state? What do we get when water changes from a liquid state to a solid state? We get ice.
We get
When
ice
water changes
when water
from a
changes
liquid state
from a liquid state
into a solid state.
into a solid state.
Where could a table that's not solidly built fall to pieces? Could a table that's not solidly built fall to pieces? Yes, a table
Yes, a
that's not
table
solidly built,
that's not
solidly solidly built.
solidly built.
Wait, one more. Yes, a
Mhm.
table
Yes, a
that's not
table that's
solidly
not
built
solidly built,
could fall to pieces.
good for two pieces.
Very good. If you went to the cinema and you bought a ticket, some popcorn and a drink, how much would you expect to pay for the lot? If you went to
Mm.
the cinema and bought a ticket, some popcorn and a drink, how much would you expect to pay for the lot? If I
Mhm.
went to the cinema
If I went to the
and bought
cinema
a ticket,
and bought a ticket,
some popcorn and a drink,
some popcorn and drink,
I'd expect to pay
I expect that pay oh 20 no 2,000 yen
for the lot. For
for
the
the
lot.
lot.
Very good.
Mm.
What's one meaning of the verb to represent? What's one meaning of the verb to represent? One meaning of the
One
verb
meaning
to
of the
represent
verb to
is
represent
to symbolize.
is to symbolize.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. Love is often
Verb
represented.
is a
One
that's
more.
a sentence.
Love
Mm. Love
is often
is
represented.
often represented
Represented
representative
in pictures
in pictures
by a red heart.
by a red heart.
Yeah, represented. Very good. What's another meaning of the verb to represent? What's another meaning of the verb to represent? Another meaning of
Another
the
meaning
verb
of the
to
verb
represent
to represent
is to act in the place
is
of.
to act in the place of.
Very good. Give me an example. Give me an example, please. David was chosen
David was
to
chosen
represent the
to
workers
represent the
at the
workers
management meeting.
at the management meeting.
Very good. What's the name of the representative for your town in your government of your country? What's the name of
Mhm,
the representative for your town in the government of your country? The name
mhm.
of
The
the
name
representative
of the
for
representative
my town
for my
in the
town
government of my
in the
country
government
is
of my country is Mr. Yamada, Mrs. Yamada.
Mrs. Yamada. Very good. What do we mean if we say that someone is filled with shame? What do we mean if we say that someone is filled with shame? If we say
Mhm.
that
If we
someone
say
is
that
filled with
someone
shame,
is filled with change,
with shame,
with shame,
we mean that
we
they are
mean
filled
that they are
with
filled
a strong feeling
with a strong
of
feeling
embarrassment
of
and
embarrassment
regret for
and
what they
regret
have done.
for what they have done.
Very good. How do people behave when they feel ashamed of what they've done? How do people behave when they're ashamed of what they've done? When people feel
When people
ashamed
feel
of
ashamed
what they've done,
of what they done,
they avoid eye contact,
they avoid eye contact,
become red in the face,
become red in the face,
say they're sorry,
say they are sorry,
etc.
etc.
Very good. What would I mean if I said it was a shame you couldn't come to the party last weekend? What would I mean if I said it was a shame you couldn't come to the party last weekend? If you said
If
it
you
was a
said
shame
it was a
you
shame
couldn't come
you
to the
couldn't
party
come
last
to the
weekend,
party last weekend,
you'd mean it was a
you'd
pity
mean it was a
I
pity
couldn't come to the
I couldn't
party
come
last
to the
weekend.
party last weekend.
Very good. Okay, what do we exclaim when we think someone's talking nonsense? What do we exclaim when we think someone's talking nonsense? When we think
When we
someone's
think
talking
someone's
nonsense,
talking nonsense,
we exclaim
we exclaim
nonsense, rubbish,
nonsense,
etc.
rubbish, etc.
Ragged, if you were stuck in a very bad traffic jam, would you turn your car engine off to save petrol? If you were stuck in a very bad traffic jam, would you turn your car engine off to save petrol? Yes
Mhm.
or no?
No,
If I were
if I
stuck,
were
stuck
stuck,
in a very bad
stuck in a very bad
traffic jam,
traffic
I
jam,
wouldn't turn off
I would turn off
my car engine to
my
save
car
petrol.
engine to the save petrol.
Very good. Is the rank of admiral one of the highest ranks in the Navy? Is the rank of the admiral one of the highest ranks in the Navy? Yes. The rank
Yes,
of
the
admiral.
rank of the mm, of the
Yes. One
admiral.
more. Yes. The rank
Yes,
of
the rank
admiral
of
is
admiral
one of the
is
highest
one of
ranks
the highest
in
ranks
the Navy.
in the Navy.
Very good. Who does a man go to if he wants a suit made especially for him? Who does a man go to if he wants a suit made especially for him? A man goes to
A man
a
goes
tailor
to a
if he
tailor
wants a suit
if he wants to suit
made especially for him.
made especially for him.
And who does a woman go to if she wants clothes made especially for her? And who does a woman go to if she wants clothes made especially for her? A woman goes
A woman
to a
goes
dressmaker
to a
or
dressmaker
designer
or a
if
designer
she wants
if
clothes
he wants to
made
clothes
especially for
made
her.
especially for her.
Name some internationally famous clothes designer. Name some internationally famous clothes designers, please. The names
Mhm. The
of
names
some
of
internationally
some
famous
internationally
clothes
famous
designers
clothes
are
designers are
Izimiya
Chanel,
Chanel, Isimiyake,
Chanel,
Kenzo.
Kenzo,
Uh-huh,
etc.
that's correct. And Uniqlo. Okay, very good.
I-
Okay, so that's the end of our revision. Let's have new word.
okay.
Very good. Okay, repeat the baggage.
Baggage.
Very good. Okay, listen. Baggage is a noun. The
Mhm,
bags, suitcases, and personal things that a person carries when traveling are
mhm,
called pieces of baggage. Another
mhm,
word for baggage is luggage. Let's
mhm.
practice. What do we mean by baggage? What do we mean by baggage? By baggage, we
By
mean
baggage, we
suitcases
mean
and
suitcases
other bags
and other
that we
bags
travel with.
that we travel with.
Very good. What's another word for baggage? What's another word for baggage? Another word for
Another
baggage
word for
is
baggage
luggage.
is luggage.
Very good. Okay, next, let's have common uses of the gerund.
Common uses the gerund
Of the gerund.
of the gerund.
Very good. Okay, listen. Three common uses of the gerund are number one,
Mm-hmm.
gerund is used as a subject in a sentence. For example, jogging
Mm-hmm.
keeps me fit. So jogging is a gerund and it's a noun. It's the
Mm-hmm.
subject. Number two, after a preposition. For example, he is good
Mm-hmm.
at teaching children. And number three, gerund is used
Mm-hmm.
after certain verbs. For example, he regrets
Mm-hmm.
selling his house. So if you
Mm-hmm.
put two verbs at this consecutively, the second must be a gerund.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's practice. Okay. Tell me three common uses of the gerund. Tell me three common uses of the gerund, please. Three common uses
Three
of
common
the
uses
gerund
of the
are
gerund
as a
are
subject in a
as a
sentence,
subject in a sentence,
after a preposition,
after a proposition,
and after certain
and
verbs.
after certain verbs.
Give me an example of each. Give me an example of each, please. Swimming can be fun.
Swimming can be fun.
I'm fed up with
I'm
listening
fed up
to that
with
song all
listening to
day.
the
To
song
that
all
song
days.
all day. Very good. She enjoys dancing.
She enjoys dancing.
Very good. Next, repeat. Treat.
Treat,
Treatment.
treatment,
Shock.
shock.
Very good. Okay, listen. Treat is a verb. It means to behave towards someone or something in a particular way. For example, I
Mm-hmm.
have a dog and some cats. I have two
Mm-hmm.
dogs and three cats. I think of my
Mm-hmm.
dogs and cats as my younger brothers and sisters. No, I mean all
Mm-hmm.
sisters, they're all girls. I treat them like
Mm-hmm.
a member of the family. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
another meaning of the word treat is to do something to improve the condition of an ill or injured person to treat. For example, to treat someone who is sick or to give medicine, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Treatment is a noun. It is an act of treating someone or something. For example, I think the best treatment for a common cold is to drink medicine and rest.
Mm-hmm.
Shock is a noun. It is a medical condition caused by a severe injury, severe pain,
Mm-hmm.
loss of blood, or fear caused by sudden danger. For example,
Mm-hmm.
there was a fire at her house. She didn't
Mm-hmm.
know what to do. She couldn't speak
Mm-hmm.
and she just kept on crying. She's in shock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's practice. Do some people treat their pets like members of the family? Do some people
Mm-hmm.
treat their pets like members of the family? Yes,
Mm.
some people
Yes,
treat
some
their
people
pets
treat
like
the pet
members
like
of the
members
family.
of the family.
Do you know how to treat someone for shock or someone who's fainted? Do you know how to treat someone for shock or someone who's fainted? Yes or no?
Yes,
I know how to
I
treat
know
someone
how to treat
for
someone
shock
for
or
shock
someone who's
or
fainted.
someone who's
Fainted.
fainted.
Very good. What do you think is the best treatment for a common cold? What do you think is the best treatment for a common cold? I think the best
I
treatment
think the best
for a
treatment
common cold
for a common cold
is to take medicine
is to take
and
medicine
rest.
and rest.
Very good. Next, repeat allowance.
Allowance.
Make allowance.
Make allowance.
Very good. Okay, listen. Allowance is a noun. It is the
Mm-hmm.
amount of something like money or time our parents or
Mm-hmm.
bosses give us that we can
Mm-hmm.
spend for a particular purpose. For example, my mother gives
Mm-hmm.
me money little by little as I need it. She doesn't give me a fixed allowance. To
Mm-hmm.
make allowance means to consider something, when making a plan or making a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For example, my class starts at 10 a.m. It takes 30 minutes from my house to school. I leave
Mm-hmm.
home at 9 a.m. to make allowance for the possibility of traffic jams.
Mm-hmm.
Let's practice. Do you think it's better to give children a fixed weekly allowance or give them money little by little as they needed? Do you think it's better to give children a fixed weekly allowance or give them money little by little as they needed? I think
Mm-hmm.
it's better
I think it's
to give
better
children
to give children
what one? A
mm,
fixed weekly
a
allowance?
fixed
Weekly
fixed
allowance
weekly allowance
than to give them money
than to give them money
little by little
little by little
as they need it.
as they need it.
Very good. When we decide how much time we need to travel from one place to another, should we always make allowances for the possibility of traffic jams or public transport problems? When we decide how much time we need to travel from one place to another, should we always make allowances for the possibility of traffic jams or public transport problems? Yes. When we
Yes,
decide
when we decide
how much
how to
time
how much
We
time
need to travel
we need to
from
travel
one place to another.
from one place to
We
another.
should always make
We should always
allowances
make allowances
for the possibility
for the
of
possibility
traffic jams
of traffic
or
jams
public transport
or public
problems.
transport problems.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to our reading.
Hmm.
Very good. So our reading is at stage 7, paragraph page
Hmm.
552. Last headword was steal, stole,
52.
stolen. Okay, please start reading at paragraph page 553. First question.
Hmm. Last question. Hmm?
First one.
Oh, first one.
553.
553. Oh, if someone steals your umbrella, does that mean you have the right to steal someone else?
Elsa's.
No. Else it's
Mhm.
no. If someone steals my
Steals my
umbrella,
umbrella. Yeah, steals my umbrella.
steals my umbrella, oh, it doesn't mean
I,
right to.
I have the right
Hmm?
to steal
I have to the right to steal someone
Elsa's. Mhm.
else's. If someone stole a book from a shop and was caught doing so, what would probably happen? If someone stole a book from a shop and the owner
Was caught doing
was
so.
caught doing so,
The
the
owner.
owner of the shop would probably call the police.
Mhm.
Have you ever had anything stolen from you in this town? No, I've never had anything stolen from
Me.
from me in this town.
Mhm.
Active activity. Would you say you were a rather active kind of person? No, I wouldn't say I was a rather active kind of person. What kind of activities interest you most of all? The kind of activities interest me most of all are going out with friends, reading, etc.
Mhm.
Organize. Supposing a group of foreign students came to stay with you for the weekend, what would you organize for them? Supposing a group of foreign students came to stay with me for the weekend, I'd organize for them.
I'd organize a
Uh,
party for them. Sushi
organize.
party.
I'd, I'd organize sushi
Ah,
party
for
for
them.
them.
Very good. Count me in. Okay, next.
Thank you. Are you good at organizing things? No, I'm not good at organizing things.
Very good. Next.
Gift, event, even if. What kind of gift would you give a boy of 15? The kind of gift I'd give
A
a
boy
boy
of 15.
of 15 would be a football, a bicycle, etc. Do you think you should always accept a gift from a friend, even if you don't like what they have chosen? Yes, I think you should always accept a gift from a friend, even if
You,
I
if
don't like
even if you don't like.
even if you don't like what they have chosen.
Mhm.
What do we mean if we say that someone has a gift for languages? If we say that someone has a gift for languages, we mean that they are naturally good at learning languages.
Mhm.
Engine. Do you know how a car engine works? No, I don't know how a car engine works. Barrel. Beer. What do we use for keeping large quantities of wine or beer in. We use a barrel for keeping large quantities of wine or beer in.